question that we're asking this evening is, despite having a Congress Neta abuse the Prime Minister, is it now desperation which is taking Congress to new lows? Let me also now introduce our guest joining us this evening. We have political commentator Sandip Ghosh. We also have Syed Abbas, a political analyst, and from the Shiv Sena, we have Punj. I also want to put this out that we did invite the BJP and the Congress as well, but now, of course, we will have Sandip Ghosh and Syed Abbas taking those positions. Syed Abbas, let me first begin with you first, since we don't have an official representation of the Congress party. Is it now just become an easy narrative that you come out on these public platforms and you abuse the Prime Minister and you think that you will get away with this?
I honestly believe that no political party or any political leader has any right to abuse any office of position or otherwise. As a matter of fact, many a times we do see Congress taking guns out and abusing BJP leaders and BJP leaders doing the same. What did we see? Madam Sonia Gandhi was called a Jersey cow. Rahul Gandhi was called a hybrid bacha. When Renuka Chaudhary laughed in the parliament, she was compared to Ravana's sister. Her laughter was compared. Many leaders like Kiran Rijiju and so on and so forth, including Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, took digs at the Congress leaders. So let me tell you, even addressing Modi as a maut ka saudagar or any other way.
So Syed Abbas, when you have Sheikh Hussain, a leader from the Congress party who makes these comments on a public platform for everybody to hear and see, and then refuses to apologize, should one then assume that this is the narrative which is suiting as far as the Congress party is concerned?
Ma'am, I truly believe, be it a Congress leader or a BJP leader or any party leader, they must refrain from any such political digs or abuses. Also, matter of fact, if they have made, I truly believe they must come out in the open and apologize for the same. And also, to me, I as a political analyst, I unequivocally, unconditionally condemn all such abuses on any political party, leader or an office of position. I truly believe that politicians are public servants and they must not categorize themselves as abusers or people with foul mouths. So therefore, I believe with great power comes great responsibility. So if people see you as leader or a political party, you must refrain. But if you make an error, you must immediately apologize or resign from your position. But
we'll have to see if the Congress internally does take enough action, because the BJP is very, very clear. If stringent action isn't taken in the next 48 hours, they're only going to escalate as far as their protests are concerned. But I want to first go across to Punj, and I want to understand, it's been 2 days since this comment was made. Why hasn't enough action been taken? Why hasn't action been taken?
Definitely, Ridhima ji, the one FIR launched in Nagpur against Mr. Sheikh Hussain, because right now he is not in any position. So it's very difficult to mean. कांग्रेस के लिए भी एक बहुत मुश्किल है कि इनको पार्टी से निकालना, और पहले फॉर्मर में ये एक्स वहां पे नागपुर में प्रेसिडेंट रहे कांग्रेस के, तो इस प्रकार का
नहीं, आप कांग्रेस के आप एक लीडर हैं, अगर पार्टी चाहे और एक वो चाहे कि अगर वो एक नैरेटिव को सेट करना चाहे, एक मैसेजिंग सेट करना चाहे, तो तुम क्यों नहीं किसी को पार्टी से निकाल सकते या एक्सपेल कर सकते?
रिधिमा जी, देखिए, इस प्रकार से प्रधानमंत्री जी के ऊपर कोई भी टिप्पणी करता है, चाहे कोई नेता करे या कोई आम आदमी करे, वो भी गलत है, क्योंकि इस प्रकार से इसको बिल्कुल हम इसका समर्थन बिल्कुल नहीं करते। इस प्रकार का होना भी नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री जो है पूरे देश के प्रधानमंत्री, तो इसके लिए इस प्रकार के शब्दों का, मैं कह रहा हूँ, इसके लिए कोई भी इस प्रकार का शब्द भी यूज नहीं करना चाहिए। इन्होंने तो बहुत ज्यादा उस शब्दों का यूज करने के बाद भी ये कह रहे हैं कि मैंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया, ये उस चीज को मान ही नहीं रहे, और ये सबसे बड़ी गलती है। जब आपने कोई गलती की है तो उसको मानना सीखिए। आपने गलती किस तरह से करी है, क्या किया है, पूरा देश देख रहा है, सबने इस चीज को नोट किया, उसके बाद आप ऐसी बातें कर रहे हैं। इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू से राइट नाउ, बिकॉज ये ऐसे शख्स हैं जो इस समय इस चीज को मान नहीं रहे, और मैं बिल्कुल इस
No, but I want to understand what led to the delay in action, because this hasn't been the case in the past. Because in the past, if comments were made against the likes of Sharad Pawar or Uddhav Thackeray, we had seen immediate action, even resulting in arrest. Why wasn't this the same case? This is exactly what the BJP is asking. That just an FIR is not enough. They're demanding the arrest. What has led to this delay? Is it okay when the Prime Minister is abused, but it is not okay when Sena leaders are abused?
देखिए रिधिमा जी, इस देश में कानून व्यवस्था भी है, जो हमारे पुलिस है या जो भी एजेंसीज है, इसके बारे में जो भी किया जाएगा और डेफिनेटली सामने होगा। हम पहले से ही कहते आए कि कोई बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा, कोई भी गलत करेगा चाहे वो किसी तरह से भी हो, और इसलिए इनके ऊपर भी एक्शन होगा अगर ये कुछ भी करते हैं। तो अगर हम किसी और के ऊपर भी एक्शन ले, हमारी पुलिस ले सकती है, प्रशासन ले सकता है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो भी एक्शन ले सकता है, तो इनके ऊपर भी जरूर होगा, डेफिनेटली होगा, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं।
Sandip, Ghosh, let me bring you in as well. When I started the show, I listed out that this really wasn't the first time, from the likes of Sonia Gandhi to even Rahul Gandhi to others. These comments have seemed to have become a common narrative as far as the Congress party is concerned. And then the Congress hits out and says that today the entire concept of democracy doesn't exist in India. Here you come out on a public platform, abuse the Prime Minister, and you still exist in the country.
See, we have got into a situation where, we all agree that the political discourse has really deteriorated in this country, and everybody has become like an equal opportunity offender. But now you're getting into this whole competitive provocativeness, which, people are doing. And I think this gentleman has not done Congress any favor at this juncture by, making these comments. And the more he tries to defend himself and Congress refuses to act, I think they will be letting down their own cause when they're trying to take a very high moral ground in Delhi on this enforcement directorate issue and other stuff. So I think this is unnecessary to my mind, but this will really make this whole Tutu Mehme slugfest even more, I think, dirty or unpalatable. But, it's a overall concern. I think political parties have to show certain maturity in pulling up their people. And
sure.
It's not a question of one-upmanship. If people have to suspend them to send down a lesson, like BJP has done in the case of Nupur Sharma, though that's a different matter, the people will have to send that signal down, rather than wait for agitations and FIRs to be filed all over the country. That gets unduly messy, and that's not desirable.
I agree. Syed Abbas, there is no defending the fact that the comments and the language that was used was unparliamentary, and why would you want to use the concept of death while you're addressing the Prime Minister? I also want to understand the larger issue, and I agree with Sandip. At a time when the situation is already very sensitive for the Congress is trying to send out a message, and they're saying we're on the path of satyagrah because we feel that we've become soft targets as far as the agencies are concerned. What is the own messaging that you're sending out from your own party? And the longer you take to have some stringent action against this particular Congress leader, you're just giving enough ammunition to the BJP. How difficult is it to just suspend the person and say that we have nothing to do as far as these comments are made, and send out that clear message?
Absolutely, Ridhimaji. I completely agree with you on that front. We do know what happened in the past when Manishankar Iyer, a former cabinet minister in the UPA days and also a very tall leader of the Indian National Congress, when he called Modi ji a neech admi, he was immediately suspended from the party. And I believe that that set a precedent, and it should come along with the way too. The problem here is, Ridhimaji, that many of these so-called political leaders believe in the George Orwellian saying. They have a certain superiority complex where they think they can say and get away with anything. They believe that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than the others. Only because you're a certain political leader or you have a party backing you, that does not mean you use the choices of abuses. The fact of the matter, we need to understand the Constitution of India allows you, yes, it certainly allows you to be a critic of the government or an office of position.
Syed Abbas, but what I'm trying to understand is,
yeah.
Let me just give you an example, and this is what is really baffling me. Today, when the questioning continued for Rahul Gandhi for the third day, he had a very short lunch break. When he came out, he put out a tweet taking on the center as far as the Agnipath scheme is concerned. This same time could have been used to send out a message. But we still haven't heard anything from the top leadership, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Has it just become a convenient narrative for the Congress to come out and abuse the Prime Minister?
Okay.
Why aren't we hearing from the top leadership?
Yes. First things first. Well, the top leadership is to answer their own, Ridhimaji. I am in no way a representative of the Congress party. I am an independent political analyst, and I will give you my views. Well, the top leadership, if you ask me, yes, not just the top leadership, but the leadership aligned must and should come out in the open and condemn this act, because this is absolutely not okay. There is a difference between being a critic of the government or the Prime Minister. You can critique, but you cannot be abused. In clear language, I'm sure you are able to comprehend what I'm saying. You cannot abuse. You cannot use any foul language. And asking for somebody's death is not just that, but it is sadistic, and something is wrong with you and your mind. That is something which no political party leader should do, not just a Congress party.
So where
Also,
will
as
the
a matter
buck
of
stop
fact,
and where will the accountability come from? But Raj Punj, let me bring you back in the conversation. And the reason that I was asking you why there was delay in action is because of this. Let me just list out some cases. In May 2022, you had a 21-year-old pharmaceutical student was arrested for a tweet allegedly hitting out at Sharad Pawar. Then in August 2020, you had the cyber police arresting a 38-year-old woman for allegedly abusing Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. All these actions happened very, very swiftly. Why not in this case? Are the other players in the Maha Vikas Aghadi also resonating with this narrative that has been pushed out by the Congress?
Definitely action will be taken. The case registered against the last Mr. Sheikh Hussain listed in the charges offense, acts and intentional insult with an intent to provoke breach of the peace. So definitely जो FIR जो उनके खिलाफ लिखी गई है, जो उनके लिए लिया गया, तो definitely उनको जो भी उन्होंने गलती करी है और प्रधानमंत्री के लिए करी है, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री जो है प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो है पूरे देश के प्राइम मिनिस्टर है, नॉट ओनली द एक पर्सन के प्राइम मिनिस्टर है। और इस इंसल्ट को इस तरह से बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। डेफिनेटली इसके ऊपर एक्शन लिया जाएगा। और इन्होंने जो भी कहा है और इस चीज को वो मान भी नहीं रहे हैं। और मैंने अभी आपके इस पे भी देखा और पहले भी मैंने दूसरे चैनल्स पे भी देखा कि ये किस प्रकार से इस चीज से अपने आप को हटा रहे हैं। तो ये इस तरह से नहीं होना चाहिए किसी भी पॉलिटिशियन के लिए। आप पीछे देख रहे हैं कि एक शब्द बोलने की वजह से पूरा वर्ल्ड आपके अगेंस्ट हुआ था। जो नुपुर शर्मा के केस में हम देख रहे हैं कि आज पूरा वर्ल्ड हमारे अगेंस्ट हुआ पड़ा है इसी वजह से। तो इसलिए आपको अपने शब्दों की मर्यादा को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए और ऐसे भी कोई भी इस तरह की लैंग्वेज नहीं यूज करनी चाहिए कभी भी।
Sandip Ghosh, I want to also understand, because all of this is of course happening in the backdrop of the questioning that continues with Rahul Gandhi as far as summons with the National Herald case is concerned. What we've seen even on day 3 are chaotic scenes in the national capital, because the Congress feels this is the time they need to carry out their satyagrah. I want to understand, has Congress been able to achieve the larger issue where they thought they could get some sort of sensitivity or sentiment towards them, or have they completely lost it? Because it would have been easier if they just went in for routine questioning and not made a big optic out of it.
I think that's what's happening. I think they're overdoing it. You know, they're squeezing the lemon too much. And I suspect this interrogation will continue, and the ED is not doing it without any substance. So the more they raise it, I think there are, escalate this whole issue, they're raising more questions than are being answered. At some point in time, people will start asking, how come even as a party, the families issue takes precedence over everything? There are so many other things happening in the country. There is, the party took a lot of resolutions in Udaipur, in the Chintan Shivir. What's happening to those? What's happening to the Bharat Jodo Andolan? Is this the concept of Bharat Jodo Andolan to agitate for a party? I think they are exposing themselves to a lot of it, and I think they should now dial down on this matter. And they have got the excellent legal support, and they should face it just like any other person. There are so many other Congress leaders like Mr. P. Chidambaram and others have also, Khadge, have all been interrogated by the ED. None of them had to create this kind of hype. So why make this stand out? And ultimately, it'll all be decided as on the merits of the case, what finally comes in out of it. So if nothing comes out damn squib, then they can always go back and say, I told you so, and this is what...
I'd like to counter that, Riddhimaji.
Syed Abbas, I am going to give you the final word, and I also want you to respond to this. Certainly. Will the Congress only be up in arms as far as it concerns the Gandhis? Anything outside the Gandhis, you can deal with it yourself.
I think the Congress party must understand that it does not start or finish with the Gandhis. Congress, if they want to be a principal opposition, they need to take a stand for every single leader, party worker, even at the grassroots level. Also, as a matter of fact, today, the CBI ED IT has indeed become a caged parrot as observed by the Supreme Court earlier. We need to understand that why is it that leaders of the BJP like Himanta Biswa Sarma or Mukul Roy, we don't see any action in their cases. Hardik Patel, when he joins BJP, all his cases are withdrawn. Why is it so selective, and why the party in central power uses all these cases and of course uses and abuses the CDEBIIT? We need to understand this. Also, as a matter of fact, not just Satyendra Jain of the Aam Aadmi Party, but in Congress Party, why there is no questioning for the BJP parties themselves? What is the update on the Sharda Fund chit fund
That wasn't
scam?
the question,
Nothing on
Syed
that.
Abbas. The question was, why haven't we heard from the Congress leadership? Why haven't they come out and mince no words and send out a clear message that this is not okay? You can have your political differences.
Ma'am, I already
you have the
answered you
right
that
to
question
protest in a
previously.
democracy, but you also need to know where to draw the line. Completely out of time, I'd like to thank all our guests. We are slipping into a very short break. Thanks a lot for watching.